All right, guys, welcome to our Multiverse minute or 45 minutes. We'll see how it goes today, but we're going to jump right into our first topic so we can roll right into this, guys. And we're going to be talking about some X-Men 97, Season 2, Episode 8, little quick review. It's called The Dead Man's Hand. The X-Men confront a ghost from their past. Ooh, ghosties.
Yeah, these synopses that they gave before the show started are so vague.
Yeah.
It could be anything, and we now know it's Gambit.
Yeah. Duh. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So what are... I have a couple of hot takes about this episode personally for myself. Do you want me to start, or do you want to do it first?
Let me give you what I think, because I'm going to be brief, and then you can have fun with yours. I'll just talk with you about what you think.
Sounds good.
So I'm glad Gambit's back. I think he's really cool. I think it's interesting what they're doing here with messing around with time, and you're not quite sure when some things are going on, but they do make it kind of obvious, but it's still kind of interesting, some of the stuff they're choosing to do. I do like the use of Rogue and Gambit in this. I don't know how you feel about it yet when we get there, but I kind of like that she's the one that saves them and how she saves them. And it's not so much by mind like you would think it would be, being under the control of Apocalypse and all that stuff, but it's more of a touch of the soul. I think that speaks to like why the X-Men, I like them. It speaks to the idea of they're always talking about bigger and deeper feelings and things that, you know, we can all relate to about how people feel about each other. Visually, I think this episode is awesome. I love the wedding stuff. I love the way the Nightcrawler scene was later is really cool looking. I will have to tell you, I think visually this might be one of my favorite visuals when it comes down to it. I do feel like for the season so far, like just to kind of briefly put it to you, I think I feel like this was like a little too late. I mean, I would imagine you'd want to do 2 episodes dedicated to whatever this apocalypse thing is going to crescendo to, but it's going to be like 1. And there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things happening. These teams that are getting together now, there's still dynamic there that they got to go through. I'm wondering if my prediction is true when we get to the end of the next episode and it's a to be continued as well, and this story continues into the next season with other characters coming in, like the ones they've been teasing. They're going to be part of the bigger picture too. In fact, it'd be kind of smart if they did, to be honest with you. Either that, or it's going to be one hell of an episode, and they might drop the episode and it's an hour long. We all think it's going to be a half hour. Might say that on the thing.
We really don't know.
Yeah, it could be an hour long. They could be like it's a special double feature ending, or it just might be one of the craziest 30 minutes of cartoon X-Men history, which is possible too, guys. Some of these cartoons can go nuts. If you really think about the old stuff, like when we got the old one, there's some wild stuff, you know. They've done some wild stuff in this one in a half hour. So I'm for it. I'm still with it. This is my least favorite episode of the season. When it comes down to just story-wise, they're just like, yeah, okay. Like I said, though, visually, though, I was impressed. Like, I do like the visuals of it. It's great. It's my least favorite, though, for sure. I think that's all I got.
I'm very happy you said that, because I was about to say that, and I didn't know if that would have been a hot take or not. For me, it is my least favorite episode.
Yeah.
It's like last week's, I had my favorite episode so far, and then for personal reasons. And then this week, I'm like, oh, it dipped really low. But that doesn't mean it's horrible. It's kind of like when we're doing our retrospective of the MCU. Like, if we give a low score to the MCU, you compare that to all other movies, and it's still within the top percent. You know?
Yeah. Like, I mean, this is still an awesome cartoon episode.
Yeah. It's just
not as good as the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I'm going to tell you why some of this episode didn't work for me. I thought the tease that we had in the episode before this of Gambit being revived and killing a looks like Apocalypse, I thought that was a ruse. And it kind of is to a degree, but it sounds like they kept some of that pretty much intact, where Apocalypse is now just living inside Remy as opposed to not. The only thing I like about that, and it's probably what I'm going to say, is probably going to tick off some X-Men fans that did not like the movie X-Men Apocalypse. But that reminds me of something that they honed in. Apocalypse's main superpower in X-Men Apocalypse was that he could transfer his consciousness to another mutant and gain some of their abilities, and that's how he is in the movies, amassed as much power as he has. He's just been transferring and continuously gaining all those stuff.
So he's just like, "Ooh, I like your powers. You're gonna be part of me
Yeah.
now."
So
Yeah.
I feel like what they did with Remy is kind of a mixture of you're my horseman, but also you're my new body right now.
Mm.
Because when you find out the end of this, when Xavier's trying to figure out how to save Remy, then he realizes, oh, Apocalypse is alive and he's in Remy. And one of his last words that he says to Rogue is, I have very little time to get Remy out of there before Apocalypse fully takes over. That's made me think, okay, Apocalypse does have that ability. At least in X-Men 97, he's showing he's got that power that it's never been shown before. And I appreciate if they are doing something a little like that, because that is kind of cool. I didn't expect it, but I don't know if they're going to take it to the level that they did in X-Men Apocalypse, the Fox film, but it was kind of cool. Moving on from that, though, how do I say this properly? So, Gambit becoming a Horseman of Apocalypse only lasted like 4 issues in the comics. It wasn't long, and the main reason, from my understanding, that they did it was because it looks kind of cool. And he does look cool in the comics as Dark Remy type thing. So I get that one episode for him doing that, okay. I would have if I was behind this, and this is also me not knowing what they're doing for their last episode, but that would have been something I would have saved for the last episode, to be like, I have a horseman and it's a former friend and you're going to battle him type thing. And then at the end of that, you kind of save Remy to a degree.
Actually, to piggyback off of you, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the last fight of Apocalypse would have been them fighting him. They defeat him, but he transfers into Gambit, and that's your last final stand.
Yep.
And it's saving Remy on top of killing him.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah.
Being cartoon, though, it could still be wild.
Exactly. And like I said, this is without us actually knowing what they're doing for the last episode, so we can have a whole total different opinion.
As far as we know, half the X-Men die next episode, which would be like, whoa. But hey,
right.
Guys, I mean, I'm in for it.
I mean, they're already doing season 3 is done, and they're already starting season 4. Like they got many more stories to tell, which I'm very happy for.
Yeah, I agree.
So the thing about that I wanted to really say real quick, and this is actually a compliment to another X-Men animated show, is X-Men Evolution. That last season of X-Men Evolution did Apocalypse and displaying how he makes Horsemen justice. It did it right. And this episode does it a little wrong. And that might be personal taste, but that one actually drew out the time you got to see. One of the things about this is that it's kind of sad too, in this thought at least, is that when Remy died in season 1, it actually felt like there's weight to it, that there's stakes to what these X-Men are going through.
Yeah.
And this bringing him back to life might be cool storytelling, but for me, it kind of takes away from those stakes. What they did right in X-Men Evolution was they did have major characters like Mystique and Magneto and Xavier and Storm. Those 4 in particular died throughout the whole season 4. And then the last episode, Apocalypse reveals they're my new Horsemen.
Yeah.
So that not only brought the weight in of all those big names that Apocalypse killed, but then reimagining them into his Horsemen. And now you have to fight the super strong versions of them as their horsemen. That was stroke of genius for the X-Men Evolution people, and I wish they continued on with season 5 onward, because there was a lot more stories they wanted to tell. They were going to talk about the Phoenix in the next episode. They had that planned, or next season, with Emma Frost and the whole Hellfire Club, and showing the X-Men from in Evolution. They were teenagers. Season 5 onward would have been them being young adults. That would have been really cool, and they may still do something like that. I never thought they were going to reboot the animated show, and now they have. And there's a rumor out there that Marvel might be trying to get away from live action Disney Plus shows and do more animation, which means if that is true, we could get revivals of some of our fan favorite cartoons that we grew up, like X-Men Evolution, like some of these other ones, because why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not have 3 different X-Men shows going on at the same time for the people that like them, and you get new takes of these characters all the time, you know?
Truthfully, if they do it in this retro style, all of them, it
Mhm.
would rock. Could
Yes!
you imagine a Thor series in this retro style like
Mhm.
this? I'd be all about it. Like,
And then
yeah, that'd
imagine a
be
Disney
awesome.
Plus crossover of all of them in,
Oh,
like, an
in a big
animated
cartoon
movie.
event,
Yeah.
animated cartoon movie of
Yep.
guys, Disney Plus can be done so well.
Get on this, Marvel.
Yeah,
Get on it. But anyways, that's just what I wanna say
that's
about
such a
that.
good idea.
I am impressed with how they portrayed Rogue. I really do wanna mention that. It's
Mhm.
actually something that's on our screen right now, the exact dialogue of how Rogue is dealing with all this. She is like she doesn't want to go through this. She feels like she's laid this all to bed
Mhm.
already, and she's emotionally just trying to move on, and I appreciate that because sometimes the first inclination you would have when you're making a story like this is, "Oh, Rogue's gonna be the one that wants to go see Gambit, wants to bring him back, wants all this stuff." She's actually like, "You know what? He died.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanna see whatever this is now." And I'm like, I appreciate that. And then I don't know if she would go along as much as she did with in this episode, but I mean, it worked out.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I liked it that she was able to do more than just the touching stuff for helping save Remy.
Yep.
I'm curious what that new crystal thing inside her is going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm a little more curious on how they gave Apocalypse a love they actually did. That was teased in like the second or third episode of Rogue saying, "For all our sakes, I hope you do find love because we about to die," you know? But you thought, okay, he's never gonna. Apparently he did?
Yeah,
What?
interesting. It'd be interesting to see what their take. I like it though so far.
I'm interested to see where it
Yeah.
goes. I don't think that's been done before from my understanding, but I'm not gonna be opposed to it if it's done tastefully.
For me, this is where you do these experiments, is in the animated stuff, truthfully.
Mhm.
Because is your heart really broken if they do something really weird? And you go, man, that was too weird.
No,
Because the
because
next
it's
episode, you can
animated.
just be back in. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and yeah.
And because it is animated, I don't take it as serious. I mean, I do like the series. I do like to think, okay, I want to think of it as I take my X-Men and all that stuff seriously, but I enjoy the big swings they're taking here because
Mhm.
it's not costing the kind of money it does like a big studio movie, and it's big enough swings where you can just be, if you're gonna do something wild, this is where you do it. And if
Yep.
they can make Rogue's hair just a little bigger, I'd be happier.
I you
There's
know
so much head there, but anyway, it's
well,
just all hair.
well, I'll say to that, I do like the animated styles that they have
I
for
love
this,
it. I love it.
but there
a
is
lot of hair.
something about the look of her from the '90s on what type of budget
Oh,
that they had and stuff.
Yeah, they still ain't getting it right. Yeah.
Yeah, no offense to her, she kinda looks younger here than she did then, and I liked the kind of more mature look of her hair, her face, her body, and all that stuff from the '90s.
You know what it is? The 90s one looked more like a mullet. This just looks like a lot of hair.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
gotta
that's
bring
true.
that southern mullet back.
Yeah.
Rogue, and we're in.
Yeah.
Like, we need that, we want Trailer Park Rogue.
We want Trailer Park Trash Road.
Yes, because she was so fun and her hair was definitely there. And anyway,
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get that in the movie.
yeah, they better. Why not?
Oh,
Why not? Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I think this is where you take those chances, and that's where it makes it fun,
I tell you what, whatever actress is cast for the X-Men live action movie, her one request better be, that iconic scene of you just see her butt and Apocalypse in the background? Do that one time for me, please.
Oh, yeah, just once.
Just one time. And you
Yeah.
know what's funny? Sadie Sink, actually the who we know now, spoiler alert, maybe not spoiler anymore for you guys, but who's playing Jean Grey?
Oh, the terrorist?
Yeah. Ike's got something going on about that. I tell you what, a video he watched. That my fault, actually. But anyways,
You guys will hear
Justin.
about it after we watch Spider-Man again. We'll
Yes.
talk.
But anyways, Sadie Sink posted something saying, "I'm glad the AI fixed my look," and it showed her with a big butt. And I thought, I love that for a sense of humor for somebody
Yeah.
just to do that. And part of me is like, I hope that the Rogue actress has that sense of humor, that she would go to like the director and be like, "Can you make mine look as voluptuous as the '90s animated show just for that scene?"
Yeah.
I think that would look really cool, you know?
That's funny.
Anyways, that's just me.
And I do think I agree with you about the whole if someone dies, let's make the weight be there. But being a cartoon, it's a little easier. I will say though that if you are going to bring someone back to life, I'm not always opposed to that. just earn that though. And
Yeah.
it's gotta be big and a big reason, and I think they did pretty well with that in
Yeah.
this.
Well, what I
Like, it makes
appreciate
sense that he comes back as bad, which is awful, but, like, to save him, it was a big to-do. It wasn't just a,
Mhm.
"Oh, he's back. Oh, we saved him. We're good." There's some things that skip over things, and unlike what John Campea thinks, the Marvel Universe hasn't done a bad job either
Yeah,
at bringing people back.
I agree.
It all makes sense on why they're back.
Mhm.
It's like, we haven't gotten into the next movies yet, but it's like, as of right now, people have died or gone. They haven't
Mhm.
come back.
Mhm.
That I guess you can argue Gamora. It's like, but it's a timeline thing,
Yeah, so
right?
it's not
Like,
really the same.
the
Yeah.
Gamora you watched in the 3 or in the 2
You don't
Guardians of the Galaxy
yeah.
is dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Wanda's dead, and I think that we're gonna keep our old Wanda dead. I think if we do get Wanda back, guys, it's gonna be a variant or
Mhm.
a version of her that's been created and not
Mhm.
Wanda. And Vision's dead. Like, but how it's okay, you can just download him into another Vision.
Yeah.
See, the stuff like that makes sense. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
It's like, so I don't agree with John Campea that they've ruined that. So, sorry, John, but until they do, I don't see it. I just don't. I want you to give me an example in the MCU. I mean, cartoons and extra shows and
Mhm.
comics aside, so far in the MCU, they've done good about when you're dead, you're dead, and
Mhm.
we're gonna go on from there.
And what I appreciate about this episode, for me to wrap this part of the episode up, is that they did take a swing in having like a secret reveal that Apocalypse was there behind it the whole time.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Because if they had
Yeah,
kept it where he wasn't there, it would have made me question a lot of Remy, his powers being dark. How did he overcome Apocalypse? It makes sense that no, Apocalypse still is your big baddie
yeah.
behind the scenes. I like that. I
And it adds
appreciate it.
another level and not just the physical fight of Apocalypse. It adds that other realm to it that really makes it interesting
Well,
in my mind.
he's gonna remember that conversation like he is in Apocalypse between him and Rogue
I
before he
I
became
think
that.
so too.
And I think that's one of the reasons why he's in Gambit specifically.
Because he likes
Is
Rogue.
no, I don't think that he likes Rogue. Maybe he sees her as like the second version of the girl he liked. I
Maybe he
don't know.
respects her.
But
Yeah.
I think what it is that evil vindictiveness of you had a
Ooh.
love. You told me I should have a love. Now my love's gonna be you
Yeah,
through him.
yeah. If I were to say anything, as much as I love the Oscar Isaacs Apocalypse, if the MCU does Apocalypse, just go full throttle evil, guys.
Do this.
Like, I loved Oscar Isaacs, and he didn't feel evil, even though it was, ultimately in that movie, his ultimate plan was to get Xavier's power once he met him and
Yeah.
be like, now I can just control everybody and get whatever I want.
Well,
So
that yeah.
ultimately, it was kind of like, he was going to get everything anyways in a bad way. But I wouldn't mind, the big Avengers X-Men versus Apocalypse and just make Apocalypse like freaking evil. Like,
Yeah.
just like pretend like you almost like, oh, look, you could feel bad for me. He does it just to mess with you. Like, and then just rip people apart. And if you're going to kill some characters, do it in his stuff.
Mhm.
Like, to me, the next biggest after Doom to have fun with, especially with mutants come in, is Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I would be that he'd be the one I'd be, advertising at the end of
I can't wait
the
till
10-year buildup should be
our
Apocalypse
X-Men
next.
Apocalypse retrospective. That's gonna be
Oh, we're
one of
gonna
my
ball.
favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, let's wrap this segment up. Or this part of the segment, I should say. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on X-Men 97, Season 2, Episode 8?
Yeah.
Do you like how they portrayed Remy? Do you like that Apocalypse had a love interest at first? And do you think Rogue's gonna be his next Red Queen right there? What do you guys think? Jump down in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts. All right, Ike, take it away for our next topic.
All right, guys, we're gonna jump into some X-Men stuff still. Okay, we got Kit Connor is reported. Here we are, guys. It's confirmed by Deadline. Our third official cast member of the MCU X-Men is confirmed to be Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, being portrayed by Heartstopper alum Kit Connor.
Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, you probably were like, who's this?
I said that. Yep.
I was blindsided by this. See, in the fandom online, they did something that you're not supposed to do. They pigeonholed Kit Connor as playing Hulkling from Young Avengers because in the comics, Hulkling is in a romantic and then later a marriage relationship with Wiccan. And Wiccan is portrayed by Joe Locke, who is his Heartstopper co-lead that he's in a romantic relationship with in Heartstopper.
Okay.
So what people did was they liked how much they did Heartstopper with these two guys being the co-leads and in love, that once one came into the picture of Marvel, they immediately pigeonholed him into his future love
Capitalize
interest.
on that chemistry.
Yes, which
Yeah.
I get it. They do have great chemistry together, but you don't do that with actors
It's
because it is a little lazy. And then that's one of the reasons why some of them are like, I'm never going to do Spider-Man, or I'm never going to do a comic character because I'm forever going to be thought of as just one thing.
Yeah.
So them taking this swing, recognizing Kit Connor's talent, which I've watched all of Heartstopper. It's so funny. 2 weeks ago, I finished season 2 again of Heartstopper. Just why not? Because I put it on after I'm done editing the videos. I'm like, I need to take a break from Marvel for just 10 minutes. I turned Heartstopper back on. I'm like, I love their chemistry together. It's such a great show. I like Kit Connor a lot. It never hit me. Oh, he could play Cyclops. And then when I saw it, the news, and I'm looking at him again, and I'm thinking of the visors and thinking of what he's beefed himself up for Heartstopper season 2. He beefed himself up because he looked a little too skinny, less muscles, and then he needed to grow. Actually, he needed to grow a little bit taller, and so beefing yourself up kind of adds an inch or two to your height, which is kind of funny. I'm like, I can see this. And then when I think about the 3 casts they already have for this. And this is your trio, by the way. When it comes to the whole love triangle thing and all that stuff, forget Wolverine, Jean, and Scott. It's Emma, Jean, and Scott. That's what it was like in the comics, and it sounds like they're going to do something to that degree in the MCU. And Samara Weaving is drop dead gorgeous and looks like I would have pictured for Emma Frost. Jean Grey actually looks like how I picture for Jean Grey, because Sadie Sink is pretty and beautiful,
Yeah.
but Emma is supposed to be that supermodel look.
Yeah.
And then you think of Scott, and you're like, oh my, I could see these 2 great young actors' chemistry together as Scott and Jean, and then him falling for the supermodel of Emma in the future. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is the first time I really can say I am super excited for what they're going to do with the X-Men.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion, and I might be going really fanguying out there crazy about this, but I loved this casting, and I cannot wait for them to announce all the other casts, because I see a pattern that they're doing now, and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So that's what I gotta say about this. Good job, Kit. You hit gold with Cyclops. You could do some really cool things with him. And he's young enough, and he has great talents. He could do this forever. He could do this all day.
Yeah.
He could be the Captain America of the X-Men.
Well, he's got to be. That's who he is. So
yeah. What's your thoughts?
So my thoughts are, I like that you're excited because I haven't seen this guy act. Okay, I haven't seen what he's in. I looked at his IMDb and I see he's in some stuff I've seen, but definitely not as a main character because I can't think of him in the movie yet. You know, if I go back and look, I'll be like, oh yeah, duh. You know what I mean? And I probably will feel that way. I look at him and I'm just like, yeah, that's Cyclops. Like, I'm good with that. Like, he's young. He's right in the same age group as these people. Emma's a little older, believe it or not, when it comes down, like, when actress-wise. So I'm sure that they'll work on whatever they want to do with that. Maybe she's meant to be a little, too. We don't quite know the role of her yet. And I think it's going to be a big role, but she might play someone a little older, but it's okay.
Well, I think in the comics, she is a little bit older.
Yeah, well, makes sense.
Anyway.
So I've seen Samara act. She's good. So there's no problem there. And I've seen, now that we've seen how, but we haven't seen how Samara's going to do Emma Frost yet, you know, so that's still out in the wind. But now we do know how Sadie Sink's playing Jean Grey. So we have a base plate to go off of when it comes down to how these people are going to feel. At the same time, though, like I've told Sammy and I'm telling people now, the Jean Grey we did see isn't going to be the same Jean Grey you're going to keep seeing. This is a part of her that you're going to see early on. So who she's going to really feel like, we're going to get later when X-Men actually comes. Because we're just getting a version of her right now in the very beginning of her, the infantile of her stages. So I imagine all these people would be different coming in, right? So yeah, until I see, I'm going to maybe check out a couple scenes of his and a couple shows and give you a little more honest reaction to his acting. You seem excited about it. I like that it's that I'm not don't take this wrong, I like that it's
Mhm.
kinda nobodies,
Yeah,
you know?
oh, yeah.
Sadie Sink, yeah, she had it big when it comes down to Stranger Things, but that's
Yep.
all she's had, you know?
Yep, and it actually is the same thing with Kit Connor. He's had a couple roles, but his biggest breakout role was Heartstopper,
Right,
and
and I
I
never even heard of it till you told me
yeah,
about it,
and I
so
like that they're doing this. I see the
yeah,
pattern that they're doing. They're
yep,
catching them at their golden moment
yep.
of
They're young, they're doing a
this
good
has
job.
enough name recognition,
Mhm,
but not too big, so now we could take them and expand that tier a little bit higher for
yep.
them,
Really
and
make a career out of being
yes,
X-Men
and
for a
really
while.
pull out the gold that you saw,
Mhm,
them portray in those shows.
I
And
agree.
Heartstopper, when if you do watch any of the episodes just to get a feeling of Kit Connor,
I'd like to,
you
yeah.
could see his acting chops in it, but also it's very teen drama-like.
That's
So
okay.
just
I
to
get it.
warn you
I
like
get it.
that.
I
But
understand, like
because that's what it was,
yeah,
really.
I'm very aware of how some of these start, you know, and
Yeah.
but I like that, you know, he's gonna be cheap. They're all gonna be cheap. That's a big one, and they're gonna be stick around for a while. And
Mhm.
this is a chance for a lot of these people to have an opportunity to show what they got and be part of a thing that's gonna make them a lot of money.
Mhm.
If it's good, you're gonna get wildly successful. You know, hey guys, I think this is looking good with you. I feel the same way.
Mhm.
After Spider-Man: No Way Home or Brand New Day,
Mhm.
and with the casting we've gotten so far, yeah, I'm feeling very more optimistic about the X-Men,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah, it's just how do we end this multiverse thing so we can get to it?
Yep.
I think that's really the only thing that's in the way is are we gonna stick the landing on this enough to catapult into a new era of some more good MCU?
Mhm.
Because really, if we're gonna get into a mutant era and stuff, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We got a lot of crazy stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, hey, that's all I got because I don't know much about this guy, but hey, looks wise, he's in.
Mhm.
I mean, I think he looks awesome. He looks like a
Oh,
Boy
yeah.
Scout, looks like a soldier. He's ready to go.
I
And
agree.
that's what we want. We want Scott to be that guy, you know, and
Mhm.
we need it. Hopefully Marsden gets his day. I really need him just to kick some ass. But anyway,
I feel like that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna give
yeah.
these old X-Men their exit, but a good time to shine exit.
He said in that interview
And
that you get to see him unleashed. Oh, yes.
yes, and
He just
if
kicks some
anything,
butt.
it's something for these younger ones to live up to.
Yeah.
Be like, you gotta walk in the shoes of these amazing men and women. So let's see you do it and bring it.
It's just too bad they're terrorists. So let's move on to the next one. Why don't you go ahead and take it out? What do you guys
Okay.
think, by the way, of this casting? Do you guys like Kit? Is this? Do you have a fan casting that you would rather have? Throw it in the comments so we can at least look at it. We've had no idea. We've had a couple fun ones, but I like that it's nobody's that. Oh yeah, pull this guy out. Let's do that. It's some of the MCU is built on that too, so I think I like that a lot. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and all that fun stuff. And Sammy, why don't you take it away for our next topic?
All right, guys, we're going to move over from Marvel to DC. It's
Hmm.
been a hot minute since we talked about it, but of course, Marvel comes first for us, so we announce that stuff as it happens. But there's a couple announcements that's happened with DC for the past couple weeks that we have not touched upon, and I think this is a good episode to finally do because we're going to get one of these things very, very soon.
Yeah.
So, Clayface has a new trailer, a full first trailer, and then the Lanterns released their final trailer. The San Diego Comic-Con week brought us 2 new trailers for Clayface and Lanterns on HBO Max. So, what are our thoughts of these trailers? Lanterns is literally just around the corner. I believe after next week's episode, the week after that starts episode 1 of Lanterns. And so we're gonna be seeing it within 2 weeks to see is this a payoff. I love that last trailer of
Mhm.
Lanterns. I actually made me excited for it watching that trailer compared to the
Yeah.
other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll start with Lanterns. I think Lanterns looks great.
Mhm.
I just am concerned about the DCU right now in general. I don't know. I have mixed feelings, and we'll talk about that more in the rumor mill when we talk about James Gunn in general. They never made promises about their TV shows versus their movies. And in fact, I think everything's canon. So, with that, I know that we're getting into what we're getting into. I also think James Gunn and them guys that agree to these projects are smart enough to know we're going to tie in enough stuff, but you know, we don't really want them to feel like they got to go watch a whole season of something. And I think we're still going to be able to get stuff and go back and forth. And I think they want it to feel more fluid than the MCU has. And the only reason the MCU feels the way they do right now is because they made multiple different promises and went back on them, or we'd feel the same way. If they just were straight up honest with us from the start that, oh, yeah, they are going to interconnect because the first word was they're not going to connect. first show right off the bat connects.
Mhm.
Like, it's just, you were just, duh, what do you think, we're stupid? You know? It's like James doesn't think we're dumb, and he gets it. He goes, hey, if you're in for this DCU thing, shows are coming with it. You know, so that's how it is. And I'm fine with it. It's actually been easier to follow than the MCU sometimes, because we got a lot of questions on the MCU because they put too much out. Um, but yeah, the Lanterns trailer looks great. I think these actors in it are good. Um, Visually, it looks like a lot of fun. It doesn't look as dark as they've been claiming it's gonna be. I'm like, yeah, you could have went darker, but I like some really weird stuff, so I guess this is me. But looks like a different style, and I'm into that. And then Clayface looks exactly like I thought it was gonna be, guys. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's horror," and they're venturing into it. Nah, I think you're gonna get some horror elements. That first teaser was the scariest you're gonna get. The rest is it's gonna be some body horror, freaky looking stuff, and you're just gonna watch the beginning of a bad guy that I think is going to be prevalent in the rest of things, which is why everyone's wondering why Clayface. I'm like I said, go back to those detective comics. He was a big deal in those back in the old days for Batman. And that was when Batman was rough and tough and stabbing people with arrows, and he killed a few people on accident. I mean, if that guy's not dead, he's not walking again, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I mean, he's the Ben Affleck Batman in a way. And that's the old original, you know, and those detective comics, Clayface was a big deal. And I think that he's going to be a big deal and onward for
Mhm.
and I hope so, because I think that should be the replacement for Joker for a while. Not saying we should never get a Joker, but it'd be nice to get a break, and then Joker comes in and really wrecks house, you know, and
Mhm.
let Joker build up again, because everyone's got right now we're still in that era too early of a stage for Joker, because everyone's gonna be comparing it still to what they didn't like before, and everyone, "Oh, it's gotta compare it to the last." You know, when
Mhm.
to me, Joker, I think you should let people play their own versions of it and just let it be. And in fact, the argument I always had is you've got all different versions of Joker. Even Jared Leto's isn't actually a version of Joker in comic books, but none of you comic book guys out there are admitting that online for some reason. You just want to hate on Jared Leto, but there's actually a version of him just like him in the comics. Like, so anyway, we'll have that discussion when we get there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I like these trailers. I don't think I'm rushing to go see Clayface though.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I want to support this idea of it, but I don't think he's gonna make a lot of money. I don't think he cares if it makes a lot of money. I think he just wants to be good. So later it might make some waves. But I'm not gonna go spend the theater money to see this movie. I'll just wait till it comes on the
HBO,
platform and
yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, I agree to that. If Clayface was like the second showing of a movie at the drive-in and I already went to see the
Perfect.
first one,
Yeah.
there you go. I'll watch it. And I don't mean it as disrespect for what they're gonna do with it. They're probably gonna do a great job of it. I have no interest in the solo Clayface film.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you guys probably already heard of my worries of them doing something like this. I don't see Marvel doing something like this because we see
No.
what Sony has done with something like this, and it may not be. It may be to his detriment if it's received the same way as the Sony ones were.
All I can
But
say to that, just to help you feel a little better, is there's no example of him messing it up yet,
not yet.
which makes me think until it's a bad one, when Sony's got example after example after example. So
Mhm.
I think you have a very valid point when you see a Sony thing come out and go, "Ooh, that
Mhm.
looks like the last three things you did."
Yep.
When with James and him agreeing to this, at the very least, it's probably entertaining and more entertaining than what Sony does.
Yep.
They probably the
Maybe they
worst
might,
at handling
and
their characters than anybody else.
they might have it. It might be really well received for all we know.
Yeah.
It might be
It
like,
might be
"Oh, we
great.
didn't even know this was a DC thing, and
Yeah.
we want to see more of it." And then be like, "Well, I could do more of this all day," you know?
Watch him introduce the new Batman in this movie. That's gonna make it that'll be like the word of mouth. Second weekend will blow up. He's in
Hmm.
the last act of this movie, Batman is, and it's a new one. That'd be wild. And you know what? That'd be a James Gunn thing to do.
And I would like that.
So would I.
Because that's my worry is this is a Batman movie about Batman,
And
and
you know what? It's
if they
secret right now.
if they put Batman in it at the end, be like, "Oh, guess what?
Yeah,
It's a Batman movie."
yeah. And it's all a big secret right now. And they're
Yep,
all like, "Why are you doing this movie?" Yeah, let the first weekend be low money until people come out of it going, "You gotta go see the last half hour of this movie."
yep, yep, yep.
Then I might go.
Alright, so guys, what do you think of these trailers? Are you pumped for them? Does it give you a new vision in your head? Which one are you more excited to see, Lanterns or Clayface? Let us know in the comments below. All right, so I'll do the last one then real quick.
Sure.
So, BlueBeetle officially returns in Man of Tomorrow, played by the same actor that I'm gonna butcher your name, but that's okay. When you got a face like I could call you whatever because you look good. So, yes, um, Jaime Reyes, aka the BlueBeetle, is reprising his role from the last solo film that he had, according to Deadline and Variety, and he's coming in Man of Tomorrow. So to touch upon this real quick, I do remember I liked the BlueBeetle movie. I liked it. I thought it was really cool, and it was one of those movies where they touched upon Justice League stuff, but they didn't explicitly say where it was. So this was one of those gray area movies where you could be in either universe. You really didn't know unless they expanded upon something. I liked that they used Susan Sarandon as the villain. I thought that was really cool.
Very smart.
Yes, she played a heck of a role on that.
It definitely wasn't a bad movie for
It
the
was
DC at the
good,
time.
yeah. And I remember at the time, James Gunn said, "Oh, I liked this a lot." And when he likes something a lot like this, as we've seen with Peacemaker and some other things, and even the Suicide Squad, where he got to take what they did, make a sequel to it, and remake it in his image, and he's bringing that over.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just what he's doing with this. And this is now a full confirmation. This same actor, Xolo Maranduyuna. I'm just gonna call you Jaime because that's your character's name.
Yeah.
But Jaime, it's cool to see him back in action like this. And like I said, I like that Blue Beetle movie, so I think this would be a kind of cool nod. Does that though make Blue Beetle the first James Gunn DC movie, technically speaking? They're bringing him into
No.
this. No,
Nope.
because you often wonder, like, okay, you're bringing this complete character transitioned over from the old universe to this new universe. Does that mean your stuff is canon?
Yeah, no, I think it's a soft reboot of the character, just like how Suicide Squad was. I really do. I don't think I don't think whatever happened in the last Blue Beetle movie has any consequence to who he's going to be in this. I think
Mm.
he saw the actor, he saw the character, he thought the actor played the character well. I think he thought the action looked good, and he liked the idea of what the things you could do, and he had an idea. He said, "Why change the chemistry of how well this guy knows his character
Mhm.
and does what he's doing? We're just going to bring him in." And
Mm.
we'll do a little brief here, things there. And you watch those Suicide Squad movies, and you don't need to see either one of them to see either one of them.
That's true. That's very
You
true.
know,
Actually.
and to me, that's the genius of it, where it's like you could say, "Look, the sequel." It's like, nah, not really. They never said it wasn't, but it
'Cause
definitely is. You know, it's not.
I think that's one thing that James Gunn acknowledges when how he did the Suicide Squad is the casting was great
Yeah.
for the first one. It just story kind of sucked. And that was that's a whole can of worms we could get into someday if we do a DC retrospective.
And once again, it's about clarity.
Yes.
James Gunn was just, I'm going to take what I like, and the rest can go to hell.
Yeah.
Now, if the MCU just committed to the clarity of that, we wouldn't have the confusion.
Mhm.
Instead, they're like, well, we don't want to mistreat all of it. No, James looked at that first Suicide Squad movie and said, "You are great as Colonel Flag, and you were great as Harley Quinn.
Mhm.
Come with me, I'm going to tell a new story.
Mhm.
And you don't need to see this other one. You can just be here. We're good with it."
Mhm.
And, we didn't need to see nothing of that. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't need to see any of it. So it's like, he put Harley Quinn in that, and he didn't have to explain who she was or anything. We already knew, you
Yep.
know? And I think he's going to do the same thing right here. He's just going to throw him in, maybe for the heck of it, give him a little talk about some hints of, like, the other movie. But no, I think he's just going to join in with this, and it's going to
Yeah.
work out just fine.
I agree with you. I don't think there's a full reboot, like an origin again. I think there's just enough we know.
Yeah.
You want to know more, you watch this other movie that was actually really good.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right. So that I think concludes our multiverse minute, guys.
It does. Yeah, wow.
Wow.
We ran right through it.
So up next, Rumor Mill Rundown.
Let's do it.